Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Friday and this means it's video time. Before we start, I'd like to give you a short introduction about me. My name is Lagler-Gruener. I'm a multi-cloud architect in one of the biggest consulting company in Austria. I'm working since 2012 with public cloud. I'm focusing mainly on Microsoft Azure. Over the time, I'm realizing it's a good idea to go more broader and also specializing into AWS and GCP. You can see I have different certification. I have one certification in GCP, I have two certification in AWS and many different certifications in Microsoft Azure. You can find my social profile on Twitter, LinkedIn, Xing, Facebook. I have for sure my private blog and since 2 months my private YouTube channel too. Okay, enough from me, so let's start with the topic from today. Today we talk about my first Azure blueprints. Why should we talk about blueprints? So when we are starting our cloud journey, when we go to the Microsoft Azure cloud, you will have in one of the steps from a cloud journey the discussion or the decision, okay, we have to build our governance rules. And one topic from governance, from cloud governance, is, for example, Azure Blueprint. This video is from video type Nugget and also from video category level 200. So it takes approx up to 30 minutes, between 20 and 30 minutes. And it's a little bit more technical session too. Okay, so let's go to the agenda from today. First of all, we discuss or we think about, okay, what is an Azure Blueprint? Why should I use it? Then we go one step further and think about what kind of permissions do we have. We have custom permissions and built-in permissions available in Microsoft Azure for Azure Blueprints. Then we go ahead and take a look to the different artifacts which are available for Azure Blueprint. Then we are going to the automation stuff. So how can we automate infrastructure as code perspective, Azure Blueprints? At the end, we think about, okay, what should we do to define a new blueprint? There are different steps available. And at the end, you will see a live demo where I want to show you how you can create a blueprint, what kind of artifacts do you have, and how the assignment should be worked. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about what is an Azure Blueprint. An Azure Blueprint is the ability to find repeatable set of Azure resources. So what does this mean? If you have a multi-subscription strategy, for example, or also a subscription strategy for dev and test operations, you have the ability to use Azure Blueprints to define in a declarative way your core resources. For example, you have your subscription and each subscription should be an virtual network available, it should be and log analytics store available. There are separate permissions available for those resources, and you can combine all that functionalities or all that definitions in one Azure Blueprint and assign this blueprint to a next subscription, for example. And then automatically the resources will be deployed and a permission will be assigned. You have the ability to define various resources such as resource group, for example, also assignments, role assignments, also policy assignments, and at the end you have the ability to deploy resources over ARM templates. When we think about Azure Blueprints, we have a backup. We have the configuration is saved into the globally, so you have the configuration is saved to a Cosmos DB, so you can use your configuration in each region, so it's synchronized over the world, and you have the ability to assign the blueprint, for example, in West Europe and also East US, East Asia, what are your preferred data centers are. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about permissions. So there are different built-in roles available. First of all, we have the owner role. The owner role have default full permission level over the subscription. So you have the default owner permission in addition to the Azure Blueprint permission. So you also have the full permission for Azure Blueprint. So you can create, assign, delete, change blueprints. Then we have the contributor role. Contributor role means normally you have read and write permission over your subscription, and in addition you have the ability to create and delete blueprints. But keep here in mind, you don't have the ability to assign new blueprints, to assign a blueprint to a subscription. It's not available with the contributor role. Then we have separate roles available for Azure Blueprint. First of all is a blueprint contributor. This blueprint contributor role have only the ability to manage Azure Blueprint, so you can read, create, change blueprints, but you don't have the ability to assign blueprints to. And at the end we have the blueprint operator permission. This permission don't have the ability to create new blueprints or delete blueprints. This permission have the permission to assign existing blueprints to your subscription, for example. But keep here in mind, you can assign these blueprints, existing published blueprints, only if you're using a user-assigned managed identity. There are two managed identity types available. The first is the user-assigned managed identity. It's a pre-configured identity, managed identity, with the correct permission. And the second option that you have is a system-assigned managed identity, which means the deployment or the blueprint service itself get for the assignment system assigned managed identity, which have owner permission over your subscription. And when the assignment is done, the system assigned managed identity will be deleted automatically. So there are two different ways. The one is the temporary assignment, and the second one is the fixed assignment, the user assignment, for example. You also have the ability to create your custom roles, and these are the permission levels which are available. The first is the create or delete permission. You can see here we are using the Microsoft Blueprint resource operator, resource provider. Then we have the blueprint option and also blueprint slash artifacts or blueprint slash versions. Then we have a separate permission available for assignment. In this case, it's also the Microsoft Blueprint resource provider, but you can see here we have here a separate role named Blueprint Assignment, and here a read and a delete permission too. Okay, then we think about artifacts. When we create a new blueprint, we have different artifacts available. One artifact, for example, is you can create a new resource group. In this case, you have the ability to create resource group inside a subscription. Then you have the ability to assign policies to this, existing policies to this resource groups. You also have the ability to assign roles to the blueprint, roles based on groups, based on users. And at the end, you have the ability to deploy new resources based on ARM templates. Okay, now we know the permission level, we know why we should use Azure Blueprint, we also know the artifacts, and now we can go one step further and talk about automation. You can provide or can create blueprints over the Azure portal, so we do this in the live demo in a few seconds. And then you have the ability to automate those blueprints over Azure PowerShell, for example. When we think about infrastructure as code, Azure PowerShell is one option that you have. You have also the ability to automate blueprints over Azure CLI, over REST API calls, and at the end, for sure, also over ARM templates. Okay, then let's go ahead and talk about blueprint definition. Okay, the blueprint definition includes, first of all, you have to define the location where the blueprint should be located. You have the ability to select an Azure management group, and you have the ability to select the Azure subscription directly. It depends on what strategy do you have. Do you want to use the blueprint over all subscriptions? Then you have to use your management groups, or if you want to use the blueprint only exactly from one subscription, you can assign this blueprint for the subscription too. Then you can create a blueprint. So there are different steps available. You can choose the Azure portal, you can choose automation, depends on your preferred strategy. Then you save the blueprint. First of all, you save a draft. And when you think, when you know, okay, the blueprint is finished, you can publish the blueprint to the location, to the base location which you define. And at the end, you have the ability to assign the blueprint. And if it's including parameters, you have to fill out those parameters and assign the blueprint, and the resources and also the configuration itself will be deployed to the subscription. Okay. We are now finished with the theory session. We are going to the live demo. When we start with the live demo, I will give you an overview about Azure Blueprint permissions. So I will show you the built-in permission and also the custom permission. Then we go one step further and create the first blueprint, including resource group, including policy assignment, including role assignment, and for sure resource deployment. We create the blueprint, we save the draft, we publish the blueprint and also assign the blueprint, and create a new version from this blueprint and update the blueprint too. And at the end, I will show you the result from the blueprint and the different options what you have. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch to the live demo. Okay, we are now in my demo environment. So you can see here, I have here my dashboard, and on the left side you can see I have the option or the service Azure Blueprint pinned to my favorites. So first of all, we open the service itself, and when we create a blueprint, we have to think about, okay, where should we place the blueprint definition itself. So we can create here a new blueprint, so click on create, and now we have the ability to use sample blueprints. So I recommend this also. So if you want to implement, for example, an environment based on ISO 21001, you can choose the predefined blueprint. Or if you want to implement a HAPIPA environment, you can also use those configurations. But in my situation or in my demo, I want to show you a new blueprint. First of all, we have to define a name. Then we have to define a description. And then we have to define the location where we want to place the assignment or the definition itself. So you can choose a management group on the management group layer, or you can also choose a subscription layer itself. In my case, I want to place the configuration or the blueprint definition on a management group layer. So I click here on select and click on next. And now you have the ability to define artifacts. So you have different artifacts available. You can see here when I'm clicking on add artifact, you have the ability to create a resource group, to create a policy assignment, a role assignment, or in the end, a template assignment. In my case, in my demo, I want to create, first of all, a new resource group. This is the artifact name, but it's not the resource group name itself. So you can place here a parameter, so you can choose during the deployment the resource group name, or you can define a fixed name. In this case, I want to define a test blueprint RG1, and also a location. You can choose it during the deployment, or you can choose it, or you can fix it in your template. In this case, I want to choose West Europe. You also have the ability to assign custom tags. So in this case, I want to define a cost center. Perfect. So now when I'm finished, I click on create, and then I want to create a second resource group too. So in this case, I want to choose a second resource group with a different name. And in this case, I want to choose the name of the resource group during the deployment. In this case, I want to fix the location itself and also the cost center. Okay, great. So now we have a blueprint in place with two resource group. It's okay, it's nice. So we want more. We want to assign policies. So click on the resource group itself and click on artifacts. And here you can see the ability to assign policies, assign roles, and assign a template. You cannot assign a resource group once more because it's not possible to group resource groups. So in this case, I want to assign a policy, and I want to choose a policy, and in this case, a location policy. I want to use the allowed location policy for this resource group, and I also want to add a custom role assignment. I click here on the contributor role, and I have a separate group named test BG blueprint. So once more, I'm sorry for this. So okay, now I have a blueprint with two resource group, one policy, one resource group assignment. I want to do this once more. Okay, now we have the same configuration on both resource groups. And now I want to add resources itself. So I click on add and assign a resource manager template. First of all, I want to deploy network resources. In this case, I want to define network resources. Security groups, and here I'm adding an existing template configuration. Okay, great. You can download the configuration from my GitHub account when the video is finished, and I want to add a second configuration for my infrastructure as service components, so like a virtual machine, automation account, and so on. So in this case, deploy ERS resources, same deploy okay, great. Here in this policy, you have the ability to define separate parameters. In this case, I have filled out, I have a default parameter, also with a default value, but you can change it during the deployment. So click on add. Okay, we are now finished with the draft, with the blueprint draft, and can save the draft. We have now the ability to save it, and you can see the blueprint in my blueprint definitions. You can see, okay, it's from type draft, it's unpublished, the last modified date, and also the location where the blueprint is assigned. So this is important when you want to assign the blueprint to more than one subscription. You have to think about, okay, on which level should we assign the blueprint, and the subscription itself should be below those the location, the assignment location, for example, the management group. Okay, we have now a draft version, so I click on the blueprint itself. We can change the blueprint, we can delete the blueprint, but we can also publish the blueprint. In this case, I want to define a new version, it's the version 1.0, and I click on publish. Okay, perfect. Now we have a published blueprint. When we click here on refresh, you can see here the icon has been changed, and also the unpublished change status. I'm sorry. Okay, good. Then let's go ahead and click on the blueprint itself, and now we have the ability to assign the blueprint. So click on assign blueprint, and here we have some configuration steps to fill out. So first of all, we have to select the subscription. In my case, I have assigned the blueprint to management group, and they have the ability to assign the blueprint to all subscriptions below the management group. So in my case, I want to deploy the resources in my MSDN subscription. Here I have the ability to define assignment name. I'll leave it as it is. Then we have the option where the management identity should be created during the deployment. In this case, I want to choose West Europe. Okay, then we can define the blueprint version. In this case, I only have one version, the 1.0 version. You have the ability to log the assignment. This is a nice feature. So think about when you have resources and you have core resources which have been saved for unusual deletement. You can add a resource group log, or in this case you can define a log assignment during the deployment, and we will see in a few seconds the difference. Okay, in this case I have the ability to use a system assignment. I recommend this, or you have also the ability to choose an user assignment based on your permission. You have to choose, think about the blueprint operator role have only the ability to publish blueprints with user assignment managed identities. In this case, I can choose a system assignment, and here you can see the artifacts from this blueprint, and you have different options to fill out. First of all, we have to think about the locations which are possible for those resources. In this case, I want to fill out West Europe and North Europe. These are my two region pairs. I have to think about the resource group name. This one I want to define RG02. And also, once more, the location, North Europe, West Europe, it's okay for me. And here you have the ability to define the storage account name from my deployment template, from my ARM template. Okay, when I'm finished, click on Assign, and it will take some seconds to start deployment and a few minutes to finish the deployment itself. So we just wait. Now that the assignment is succeeded, we can select the assignment and we'll see, we are waiting for the deployment until it's finished. Okay, the assignment is now completed. You can see it on the top, you see the assignment was succeeded, and on the bottom you can see the huge amount of resources which are deployed. You can see the two resource groups here. You can see the role assignment for each resource group for the RG1, RG2. You can also see the two policy, the allowed location assignment on each resource groups. And then you can see there are different resources available from my ARM template. You can see here I have 3 network security groups, I have 3 virtual networks, I have a virtual machine, I also have a network interface, a storage account, and a public IP address. So let's have a look to our resource groups. You can see here we have 2 resource groups, 2 new resource groups, the test blueprint RG1 and the RG2. In RG1 you can see a virtual machine. I'm sorry, not a virtual machine. You can see two different virtual networks in two different locations. I've added also the East US2 region to my allowed policies. You can see here allowed locations, I'm sorry. You can see here access control list. I've added a custom contributor permission. In this case, the test BG group 01 as contributor permission. And when we have a look to the policies, you can see here I have a custom policy, a single policy assigned with allowed locations. So this is everything done by my blueprint. Keep in mind there's no log available, so you don't have a resource group log and you don't have an assignment log. We will do this in the next step, so we go one step ahead and click on blueprints. Click on our defined blueprint, on our published blueprint once more, and click on edit blueprint. So now we want to add a third resource group. And also add the information during the publishing. You see here we have our configuration in place. I want to add another resource group. In this case, I'm adding another one. So test BGP RG03. I want to assign a fixed name, also the location fixed, West Europe. I want to assign my text once more. And click on add. Okay, now we have a blueprint, a new resource group. I want to assign a new template. Deploy pass resources. Click on add. So now we have our resources in place. Click on save. We don't assign now a role or a policy to this resource group, and we want to publish the blueprint once more with a different version. And add a change node, RG3, resource group, and pass resources. Okay, click on publish. Okay, now the new version is published. You can see here my latest version is version 2. It's also published. When we click on the blueprint itself, you can see here under published version two different versions. The version 01 10, this is my initial version, and the version 2.0 with add RG3 and also pass resources. So let's click on our assignment. You can see here I have assignment in place. You can see where the assignment is placed, in this case on my MSDN subscription, and also the version 1.0. So I want to update the assignment. Click on the assignment itself and click on update assignment. And now you can see we have the ability to choose the version 2.0, and now I want to add a do not delete log to this resource group and click on assign. We should see in a few seconds the blueprint is assigned, and then the update process will be started. So keep in mind, we don't install or we don't remove anything. We only update the resources. So we make a differential check. So all things which are in the blueprint and which are new will be deployed now. And when we are finished, we will see the deployment was succeeded and the changes are in place. Okay, now the deployment or the update is complete. You can see here we have now a third resource group and also those resources. So we can see here we have a web application, automation account, and app service plan. And we also log the whole resources. You can see here our log state is now changed to cannot delete. Okay, so let's switch back to our resource group. You can see here we have our resource group 03 in place. Click on the resource group and you can see all resources are available. You can also see there are my tags available, cost center, and the number itself. So when we try to delete the resource group, it cannot be successfully deleted because we have a log assignment. This is not a resource group log like this one. You cannot see any log here. It's a blueprint deny assignment. So let's go to the access control EM. So this is our role-based access control area. And you can see here there's a deny assignment available. And in this deny assignment, you can see all principals have a deny assignment and do not delete assignment. And this is only available for Azure Blueprint. So you don't have the ability to remove this assignment. You don't have the ability to add a deny assignment. You only have the ability to add a role assignment. So you can add roles, but you cannot add a deny role. Okay. So let's try it. Let's try to delete the resource group. Okay, select the resource group, select the name, and try to delete. You can see now it's not able to delete the resource group because we have a deny assignment. You can see it here, and this is the reason why it's also a good idea to use Azure Blueprints, because you have the ability to add deny assignments and you can have the owner permission from the resource group. You don't have the ability to deny or to remove the deny assignment. If you want to remove the deny assignment, you have to update the blueprint itself. So let's switch back to the blueprints, go to the assignment, click on the assignment itself, and click on update assignment. We want to choose the same version, the version 02, but we want to remove the log assignment, in this case do not log, and click on assign. Now we have a new assignment. The deny log or the do not delete log will be removed right now, and in a few seconds we will see we are now able to remove those resource groups because the deny assignment was removed from my update. Okay, the update is now finished, and you can see here on the log state we've removed the do not delete log. So now there's no log in place. We can switch back to our resource groups. Let's have a look to our RG03 resource group, also in the access control EM section, and let's have a look to the deny assignment. The deny assignment is now removed, and we are now able to remove the resource group. So we can select the resource group, delete the resource group, and it should be work right now. Yes, it's working right now. So when we think about assignment removal, so let's switch back to our blueprint services and go to the assignment and remove the assignment. So here on the right side you can see here the context menu, and here you can see the unassigned blueprint option that you have. But keep in mind, when you unassign a blueprint, this means the resources itself will not be deleted. So this is, I hope this is I guess this is a feature of the roadmap from Microsoft, and maybe it's a private feature right now. I don't know. This is maybe in the next few months public available. then also the resources will be removed. But now, right now, no resources will be removed when you unassign a blueprint from your subscription. So let's remove it. The blueprint is now unassigned, so now it's unassigned, but my resources are still available and there's nothing changed. Okay, that's it. That was my session about Azure Blueprint, or my first Azure Blueprint. I hope you enjoyed the session. Give me a feedback. Take a look to my GitHub channel where I place the ARM template itself. Take a look, try it out, and give me a feedback. That's from this session. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you soon.